soundboardy goodness, so I can play Loisos sound drops, because that's what the world needs more of. We're not even recording. Stop it. This is grade A material. You are flushing down the shitter right now. Literal grade A material. You are flushing down the toilet right now. I hate you so much. We now have, if anybody, I mean, and we just went live, so I don't know. I did spam it all over the place. So I don't know if anybody's over there in the Twitch chat yet. But if you guys have emotes now. Thank you, Michelle from Poor Playback, who did us custom emotes for Twitch. We have myself, we have Justin, and we have Loisos, and we also have Lieutenant Eckhart, because I felt like we needed an appropriate fourth emoji on Twitch. So it's Justin. It's the shot of him like standing there looking like. So yeah, if you're over there, and if you are a subscriber, if you do have a level 1, you can spam that Eckhart with Eckhart emoji with glee. So yeah, so welcome everybody to pre-roll time. Yeah. That's right. We got to get Justin amped up so he's ready for this episode. We got to get him ready. Ooh, actually, wait a minute. Wait a minute. They can't hear you guys. Now they can. Speak.
How can you not be amped up for Chuck Norris?
Woof. Listen,
I cannot be amped up for Chuck Norris.
I'm 100% amped up for Chuck Norris. Listen, I'm just not amped up to hear what Nick's going to say about Chuck Norris, because he's going to be wrong about all of it. I'm pretty sure. I may be wrong. I've been wrong before, which I openly admit when I am, but I can't hear anyone talk.
I wish I had
Norris.
I wish I had a GIF image that I could put up on the screen right now of a flaming dumpster, because I'd rather hop into one than watch or do anything that has anything to do with Chuck Norris ever. I fucking hate Chuck Norris. He's reprehensible. We'll get into more of that in the main episode review, because that's hashtag Canon Quarantine today, folks. Hashtag Canon Quarantine is going to be all about the Norris,
all about MGM's second highest selling home video title up until 2007, only behind Gone with the Wind. That's how popular Invasion USA is, and I can't wait.
You know why? Because neoconservatives probably buy it, and they probably like give it out at parties, like as party favors, and they all watch it and get terrified.
It's dads who watched Walker Texas Ranger strolling their local Walmart, and they see this on the shelves and they buy it. That's how it's become the bestseller that it's become.
Also, it has one of the coolest front covers of any movie ever made.
I mean, that's true. Although the front cover's a lie. The poster's a lie, because none of the film takes place in New York and none of it takes place in DC.
I know.
But the movie does feature Chuck Norris with 2 Uzis, and he fires them both at the same time.
And that cut-off jean shirt with the same belt with the belt buckle and those super tight, his karate jeans, his jeans that he wore in his movies were those karate jeans that you had, like they were back in the 70s and actually, I'm sorry, the 80s and 90s, that you could wear like tight jeans, but they were made stretchy enough where you could do like high kicks and stuff. It was his brand. You can look it up on Google, man.
Dan, welcome. Michelle, welcome. Michelle, but I really like the Angry Frog, Justin, because he is also the Epic Film Frog, so it fits. It fits. It kind of fits. I'll change it over at some point. I will change it at some point.
This is Epic Film Frog here, and I want to tell you, go fuck yourself.
She did it really good. It even has the tattoo, the everlasting, on the neck of the emote. So
wait, I'm sorry, Nick. So who designed these?
Michelle from Poor Playback, the same one that did your fan art. She's in the chat.
Yeah, I love them.
I love them too. I love the Loisos with all the question marks because this is his constant state when he's on the show. He's like, "What the fuck am I doing here? Why am I here? What's going on?"
Oh goodness!
Always inevitably questioning what's happening. Yes, happy podiversary. So we hit 5 years last week officially, ladies and gentlemen. 5 years of delicious EFG goodness.
Pack them in real good and tight.
Exactly. Pack them in hard and fast.
We're
packed. We're going to do fun pre-roll stuff. Justin, do you have a wrestling thing? I'm sure we'll do a wrestling thing at some point because we got to bore Loisos with wrestling.
Of course.
We got to bore Loisos with wrestling.
I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it in the main show, but we do have a little bit of movie-related stuff. Loisos, thank you for being awake at fucking 3 a.m. or whatever it was to post this news to our Facebook.
You're welcome.
I woke up and I was like, wait, how did he post that? Well, 4 hours ago. I told you last night before you left here, I was like, you're staying up late anyway.
Freely.
Get some work done on something. And of course, you stayed up late. And you did. You got something done. You posted that the legendary Ennio Morricone, one of the most iconic, prolific film composers in the history of the medium, passed away.
Literally of all time. So just because today in tribute, I spun some Once Upon a Time in the West. I watched it all the way through today. And my fucking Lord, what a movie that is. God, every time I watch it. Oh my God. It's just maybe, you know what? And I'm sorry, maybe Chuck Norris had the unfortunate side effect of backsliding down after Sergio Leone. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but yeah, what a movie. Oh God, I love that movie so goddamn much. Plus Bronson.
That's true.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I mean, when you look at the filmography that Morricone put his hand into, it's huge. I mean, that film is definitely one of my favorites. His score for Once Upon a Time in the West is one of the most iconic. You know, the harmonica stuff. It comes to mind immediately. Of course, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Clint Eastwood trilogy, and all the other stuff that he did.
Go ahead, Justin. Sorry.
No. You're about to talk. I've told you before a million times. When you're gonna cut me off,
he finally learned to jump in.
Follow through. I'll stop.
I am a polite motherfucker. I was raised to not interrupt.
Now you gonna die.
And I've learned that if I disobey Daddy, I get the belt.
Well, I'm not going to give you the belt. I'm going to give you the belt if you don't interrupt. But seriously,
Daddy's going to spank you with the belt now.
Meanwhile, I just hit soundboard buttons and interrupt everybody.
See, I'm used to it.
I was just going to say that he was the Western. I mean, when we think of the Western, we think of that theme from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Right.
Instantly. So, I mean, his scores for these Westerns were indelible, just to the genre.
Absolutely iconic.
Absolutely. And an underrated score, I think, of his, even though the movie is absolute dog shit. The Exorcist.
I know where you're going. Exorcist 2.
Exorcist 2, The Heretic. Chillingly effective score. Really, really done. And his Reagan's theme for that is so beautiful. So, I mean, there will never be another one like him, ever.
I'd have to say another underrated score out of his filmography, which doesn't get talked about as much, I think, as a lot of the other stuff, especially the Westerns, is his score for De Palma's The Untouchables. I think fantastic.
That's because De Palma's The Untouchables sucks, but that's beside the point.
No, I think it's actually a great gangster movie. It's great performances. So wrong there again. And of course he did.
Wrong again.
Fuck you, Paul.
He scored, John Carpenter's The Thing. He scored it like John Carpenter would score it, which is why it sounds like a John Carpenter score. It's very strange and weird that, you'd bring in Morricone, and even Carpenter came out, and said in interviews like, hey, we brought him in because I wanted his music. And he basically did John Carpenter, Morricone doing John Carpenter. And it was pretty touching to see, because Carpenter's not like a touchy-feely kind of guy, but him like posting today he posted a picture with him while they were working on The Thing and talking about how a great collaborator he was and such a great composer. And pretty much every film director in Hollywood looks up to this guy. This is the guy that you wanted to score your movie. And luckily, one of the better recent scores we had was for the Hateful Eight, which Morricone did, which is super memorable.
Which, I mean, he's also, I mean, you got to think it's also just this, he's the soundtrack for pretty much every Tarantino movie. I mean, you can't think of like almost every Tarantino movie includes something from Morricone's vast library from his spaghetti Western work, most of it. But like, you know, films like Kill Bill and whatnot, like there's tons and tons of Morricone stuff in there that, you know, obviously got reused from other films because Tarantino legitimately idolized him. So, you know, it's amazing to see and, you know, all that. But yeah, I love the Hateful Eight score. It's incredible. And it's, you know, I mean, well, you know, half of the reason why I love that movie as much as I do. The other half is because I saw it in that beautiful roadshow format, 70 millimeters, which was just mind blowing. But
it was, yeah, 100%. I mean, here's the thing too. I mean, it is upsetting. It sucks. We are dealing with a time right now where a lot of people are passing away. Like I don't think that I look at my phone where a day goes by where someone even well-known of some kind of celebrity has passed away. Some of it due to COVID. We had a Disney star pass away today. We had a Broadway star pass away today. It's hard to tell what it's from, but I mean, Morricone lived a very long life. He was what, 91, Brian?
Yes, I believe so.
He lived a great life. And like I said, when you look at his body of work, when you look at how many movies he's done, it's pretty insane. Like how many decades, how many people can say that they scored movies from starting basically in 1960 all the way to, I think the last thing he was working on was this year. So, I mean, 2020, dude, literally it's like 50 years.
A legacy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, huge legacy, and it will never be forgotten. Will be immortalized in every possible way. It was so awesome to see, especially on Instagram, all these vinyl collectors that I'm friends with, which is a lot of our followers on the Instagram page, and people just posting their Morricone vinyl collections. It was awesome tribute. You know, and you know the people that care about it. You see the hardcore cinephiles out there really representing. Not as many, you know, new school movie lovers really showing that much love, but it's kind of expected. You know, they got their Hans Zimmers and their Goldsmiths and, you know, John Williams and everything. But this guy goes back, man. I remember being on the couch with my grandpa and watching old spaghetti Westerns, and that music is just going to forever live on. So rest in peace, man.
Yeah. He lived a good full life. So, you know, it's still sad though. It's still the loss of an absolute legend. But yeah, I had to do something. I had to spend something, and we still have to at some point way down the road, somewhere somehow do the dollars. Remember, we were going to do it. I forget for what. When I did Nick's Watch List as its own thing, which Nick's Watch List is going to be coming back this coming weekend. I'm going to be recording with our very, very own director Brennick himself.
Oh yes, Pod Daddy,
that guy. And we're going to be doing P.D. Wheatstraw, Rudy Ray Moore.
P.D. Wheatstraw.
Cannot goddamn wait. I'm so excited. After how much fun I had with Dolomite, I am beyond excited to watch P.D. Wheatstraw. So yeah, that's I as soon as it got drawn, I knew I had to reach out to Dan, because Dan was the one that recommended it for Nick's Watch List, and of course that's now a Patreon only segment. So if you want to check that out, $3 and up on Patreon, and you get access to all of the Nick's Watch List stuff, which I want to start getting those to a month kind of thing. That's what I originally envisioned. So all you $3 patrons out there that are slacking, you know who you are. Get over there and put some $3 films in there, and I will watch them. Not, however, Patrick Sherwood, any old film you feel like, because he's like, I'm going to put Chuck Norris's entire filmography in there, and I'm like, I have veto power on Nick's Watch List. It's not like Canon Quarantine where I got to watch whatever schlocky nonsense gets picked by the random generator. Like, if I don't want to watch a movie that somebody recommends, I will be like, no, pick something else. Nick's Watch List is not to punish me. If you genuinely want me to watch a movie and I don't like it, that's one thing, but you can't use it to punish me.
drawing a line in the sand. I think that needs to be done.
Exactly.
Drawing your boundary line is something to be respected, Nick. So, on another note, I have a new video coming tomorrow.
Ooh. Do you want to do we get a sneak peek?
Sure. There is a film, and we might have talked about it on the podcast, that we screened at Alamo Drafthouse.
We've never talked about the Alamo on this show.
With Patton Oswalt in attendance. He we invited him to introduce and attend a screening of a film called Ozone from 1993? 1990? Yes, 1990.
I take it you haven't done the video yet if you don't know the year.
I have not done the video yet, no. But it is a 1990s direct-to-video low-budget horror film from master auteur J.R. Bookwalter. And we handed Patton a microphone at a certain point during the screening, and he just started riffing on the movie. So that was an experience that was near and dear to my heart, because how often can you say that you were in a movie theater sitting next to Patton Oswalt as he riffed a movie?
I can say twice.
200 other people in the theater were there laughing and having a good time.
You keep quiet, Justin. No one asked you.
So recently, Ozone celebrated a special edition Blu-ray release. So I bought The Thing, and I'm going to be talking about The Thing because it's not necessarily something we can spend a whole hour and a half long B-side episode on. But it's something I want to make people aware of because for what it is, it's really fun. And for the budget that they had and the fact that it was shot on video, the Blu-ray is as good as it can look. Like, obviously, they cleaned it up without destroying the integrity of what it was shot on.
It was shot on video, yeah.
But I mean, the thing is like packed with special features, and there's like a whole history to it that I didn't know. So after watching the documentaries and stuff, I just wanted to make like a video just kind of letting people know about this little movie that I have a great affinity for. So that's going to be coming up tomorrow, and more video reviews after that. I have stuff planned, and I'm not going to say that I'm doing videos and then not do them. I'm actually legit doing them. And so help me, if I don't, I give our listeners and I give you all permission to spank me as hard as you can.
Now everybody's just going to be praying for you not to do videos so they can spank you. I mean, that's all you're just giving them what they want, Lois.
Or punish me in some other way.
No one fights like Eston. No one bites like Eston. No one sucks a gigantic dick like Eston.
You can even send a killer Santa Claus or a guy dressed up as Santa Claus with an axe. What just happened?
I accidentally hit a button. Don't worry about me.
Did someone make a donation?
My stuff.
That was the donation sound drop for live stream for the cure.
I heard someone make a donation.
I didn't mean to hit it. I did it. It was an accident. Listen,
are we getting paid for this?
Listen, back to listen.
Bitches can't get enough of my stuff.
Bitches can't get enough of his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Ricky from Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 is coming to get you, Loy Sauce.
Garbage Day.
Yeah, wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud.
I can't help it. It's just the way I am.
Did you use the beard oil I gave you yesterday? Did you try the beard oil? Nick, I gave him some beard oil.
Yes.
I'm going to have to start bombing this goddamn thing if it gets any longer, but I really need to cut my hair and trim my beard. Like, I'm getting a little wild and unkempt.
Justin was kind enough to gift me some beard oil, but I have not used it yet because I didn't leave my house today. So.
Well, you use it when you take a shower. So whenever you
get that stuff in there like every day, then that stuff like conditions your beard, makes it like really soft and stuff. Makes it really nice. You'll love stroking it so much you wouldn't dare think about shaving it ever. Literally, as long as you live, because you're not allowed to. We've determined last week that you're contractually obligated to never shave it. We're gonna take out an insurance policy like the Steelers did on Troy Polamalu's hair once upon a time. We're gonna take out an insurance policy on your beard, so you can never shave it or damage it or otherwise harm it in any way.
Well, so I don't get a say in this?
No, absolutely not. No.
I do approve the trimming of the beard.
I need to trim it this week.
I'm fine with that because I saw it again yesterday. I think a nice trim will help. It definitely will help it grow thicker and, fuller if you trim it a little bit. So that's fine. Just don't get rid of it. It doesn't want to go. It likes where it is, and we like it.
You're now talking about my beard as if it's a sentient being.
Listen.
With hopes and dreams and aspirations.
This has everything to do with the beard.
People want the sauce.
See, they don't just want loy sauce anymore. They've had that for years. Now it's loy sauce with a beard. Now, you can never go back to the way that you were. Then everybody's just going to be like, hey, where's the beard? Or are you going to, shave your head? Shave your head and keep the beard.
No, that's not happening.
Justin, make him shave his head. You're closer to him than I am. He comes over to your house. Get him drunk and shave his head while he's been over your toilet.
I'm not touching my hair. Well, I mean, I might get it cut, but I'm not shaving it.
Justin, if you cut a big patch out of the middle of it, he won't have a choice because it'll look bad. You don't have to cut the whole thing. You just have to do a little just take right up the front, and then he'll be like, "Oh, look at this! Is such a mess. I've got to get this fixed now."
I would just wear a cap or something over my head until it grew back. I have a baseball cap, my favorite baseball cap that I found at Walmart, and it just says it's a normal baseball cap, but it just says meow on it. And I saw this hat on the shelf, and I said to myself, I have to buy this. I must own it. In fact, let me see if I can find it.
Let's see it.
That's right. Fire up those Eckhart emojis over in the chat. Fire up those Eckhart emojis.
Nick, I'll be seeing Eckhart on the big screen once again this Friday. I can't wait.
I won't be.
Meow.
Meow, 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 meow.
Who made this and for what purpose?
Meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Listen, I have seen many a product in my time that I just kind of tilt my head to the side and I'm just like,
what?
There's a market for that? Okay.
You
know what really pisses me off? Tell me if you guys have the same experience on your Facebook accounts, because Facebook, they of course do the targeted ad bullshit where you get targeted ads all the time. I get these ads every once in a while. It's for merchandise and apparel like shoes, hoodies, shirts branded after my own last name with some really cheesy like 90s get some kind of slogan or it's a Haskins thing you wouldn't understand, merchandise branded with my own last name, and then every time I see it, I always go into the comments and I'm just like, no. Just no.
Well, if you interact with it in some fashion, they're gonna keep targeting.
No, but they just started. That's the problem. Is they just kept showing up forever, and I just ignored them, and then they just kept showing up. So I started to actively start attacking them, and then I would report them as spam and not useful and this is stupid and whatever. But I just keep getting them, and I don't understand. It's big wall tapestries, blankets, shirts, shoes, you name it, with just your surname emblazoned on them, because it can't just be my name. It's got to be any last name out there.
Sure.
Have you guys ever seen that before?
I'm aware that it exists. I never get it's a Loy thing you wouldn't understand. No one would buy that. But I think targeted advertisement.
The really shameful thing is the
disturbing.
comments I see on Facebook where, you know, it's like it's like a shirt that's like it's a Haskins thing or something, and you go into the comments and it's a bunch of people with my last name that are tagging other people with my last name that are be like, we should get these for everybody, and I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, we know that if you make something available to purchase, people will buy it.
Somebody will buy it.
My family spent this weekend, or part of this weekend, doing Ancestry.com. And I have never used Ancestry.com. I've never visited Ancestry.com. But my family was talking about Ancestry.com this weekend, you know, what they found and all of that. And then I started getting ads for Ancestry.com. And it's like, how did they know? Are they listening to us through the speakers in our phones?
Of course they are.
But that's so fucked up. Like,
yeah, it is. It is. It is. But they do.
Something else I did this weekend was watch a thing that was released to Disney Plus this past weekend. I watched Hamilton.
Wait, I have
and
a
so
thing
did
for
Justin.
This. I have a thing for this. Hang on. I have a thing for it.
Oh, excuse me.
I tried to be fancy and be like, I'm gonna have screen grabs for stuff for in the whereby thing, so I can share them with things. I wish it didn't like default it to the main size of the screen when it does it. But it really, yeah. There we go.
It adds a little something.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, also it looks really stupid when it's just two windows because there's way too much dead space in the stream overlay. So I've got to think of other alternatives for like if there's only two people, unless I just do the two people. But then even then there's too much dead space. Figure it out, whereby figure it out.
Nick, did you watch this?
I did.
Oh, okay. So that's I was gonna ask you. I was gonna send you a text yesterday because the wife wanted to watch it. It is on Disney Plus. Of course, it is in Dolby Vision, so it was a must-watch for me. But Loisoff said, I watched it already. I can't wait to watch it again. Now, listen, this is after he'd already ditched coming to hang out with me on 3 different occasions to watch other things I wanted to watch. But as soon as I mentioned Hamilton, I'll be right the fuck over, Justin.
So stop it.
I'll remember that. But we watched it.
It's not necessarily what it was. It was when I was available, but...
Listen to him when he was available. How exclusive the sauce may be.
Look, I'm a very busy man. Yeah, my time is in demand.
You sure are. But Nick, so you watched it.
He is, after all. Where is it?
This is your wheelhouse, man. Definitely more than mine.
Where is it? Where the fuck? Oh, I was gonna say he is the god of podcasting, and then hit the Colby Mac, but it was way too late. I need a new soundboard app that's not this clunky and shitty and bad. I've really got to start. 5 years we've been doing this, and I've been using, well, granted, the soundboard hasn't existed for 5 years, but I've been using the same recording software. I've been using the same editing software, mostly. I've been using the same soundboard. I've never upgraded anything. Like, I need to finally start teaching myself how to use, like, Reaper. I need to finally find a new, better soundboard. The problem is most soundboards, like the good ones, are all, like, apps for phones and stuff, and I don't want to sit here like this, like with my phone like plugged into the soundboard, and like every time Loisoff says something, I'm like, people want the sauce.
That would be like, laborious.
Yeah, it would be even worse somehow. So I'm just like, I want, like, what I would love would be like a separate mixing board or something with like the buttons corresponded to what, I don't know. I want like thousands of dollars worth of audio equipment and like a nice like studio and everything. But all I get is...
He said that he sucked the blood from the penis and put the balls in his mouth.
Yeah, that's all I get. Balls in his mouth.
That's what you did.
I watched. It's like the biggest thing to hit Broadway in decades, or a decade or whatever. Coming to like a streaming platform that it was supposed to be released in theaters in October 2021. Like they were going to put it out like fucking ages from now, but because it was COVID,
I thought it was October of this year.
No, it was supposed. What I've read is October of next year. It was supposed to hit streaming services, but again, it was recorded.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
it was a couple different. It's not all one is my understanding. It's not all one, like just one performance. It's a couple different performances cut together. But yeah, these were all recorded back in like 2016. So I'm not sure why they were going to wait. If they had it like this and they had it ready, like I don't know why they were going to sit on it for a year and a half.
Probably, Nick, because they didn't want it to cannibalize the actual show on Broadway and the touring productions. They figured if we release this in theaters, then that'll give people less incentive to go see it live. So with Broadway shuttered right now, like with theaters, Broadway theaters
almost
are
certainly
closed.
To the end of the year as well.
Yeah, essentially to the end of the year. I think it was a wise move to move it up in light of, like, if they're sitting on this amazing show and people are at home and they need people. I think they needed content for Disney Plus and a reason for people to sign up for Disney Plus. And so they canceled their free trial option for people conveniently.
Did they really?
Yeah. Because they wanted.
Wow.
Because think about how many people signed up for Disney Plus just to watch Hamilton. Probably a lot. So,
wow.
I mean,
Disney.
Smart business decision on their part.
Well, and they know that once like a lot of these accounts are signed up, like, and Dan will have to help me out with some Netflix numbers, but you know, a lot of this stuff, because it costs relatively so little and just gets stuck on a credit card and it's a recurring charge every month. Like, there's got to be like a healthy percentage of people that will just never cancel it. Like, once they sign up for it and they figure that's probably the gimmick. Once we can get them in the door, like they won't cancel right away, or like they'll keep it long enough, or like maybe they'll keep it for 2 or 3 or 6 months or whatever the case may be. Like, there's got to be some kind of number.
Dude,
like that.
That's exactly how I am with Shudder. Not that I would ever cancel it, but when I started, it was $5 or something, or under $5. I remember, and I use it maybe once or twice a month. I definitely do. But it's all mashed up on Amazon Prime with a bunch of other stuff I'm watching. So I'm not looking at the bill going, oh, I might need to get rid of this. It's like a lot of people do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. The charge is so minimal, and then you can justify it by being like, I'm sure I'll watch something on it, you know, in the course of a month. Which is somewhat absurd, but fine.
but again, so you were getting to your thoughts on it, because again, you are a huge musicals guy.
I finished it.
That's
I finished
it?
my sparkling water.
Oh.
I was just saying for a second.
Okay. This may be one of the rare occasions on this show where we're all three of us are sober.
Daddy's gonna spank you with the belt now.
There's really nothing we can say about Hamilton that hasn't already been said. You know?
Listen, you're the one that listens to all the songs. You're the expert on it on this show. If there was one to be called one, it's you.
Well,
Yeah,
I had not seen the show because it was very difficult to get a ticket for it. That wasn't $1,000+ and so, you know, when it was touring and it came to the Kennedy Center, I was like entering the lottery to get tickets.
We did too, I remember.
So I mean, the show's a full-blown phenomenon for a reason, and it's impossible to get tickets for a reason. I mean, the show itself is fantastic. And again, there's not really much I can say about it that hasn't already been said. The cast is extraordinary. The fact that this, you know, the music and the lyrics came entirely out of Lin-Manuel Miranda's brain is just astounding to me.
You want to know what it did? It made me about 8,000 times more excited for In the Heights whenever theaters reopen and that comes out. Because I was already super hyped for that when I saw the trailer for it. Because, I mean, it just looks that incredible. But, yeah, no, it only
It's a
made
fantastic
me more
trailer.
Yeah, it
It's a
really
fantastic trailer. And I'm bitter because that was supposed to come out on my birthday. And I was excited to go out to the theaters for a birthday outing to see In the Heights. But that, of course, didn't happen. But and Anthony Ramos, who plays Philip, Hamilton's son in the musical, is playing the role that Lin-Manuel originated in the original In the Heights show. So that'll be very exciting to see. But what I appreciated about this was that it was not a movie version of Hamilton. It was a filmed performance of the original cast. And I think part of the appeal of the show, it first of all is the cast, and second of all, like, it would just be very difficult to translate this to the screen. And third of all, I think it's just a way to introduce audiences to what Broadway theater is like and what it is like. I mean, it's nowhere near the experience of what it's like to actually be there. The energy is entirely different, but it's still extraordinary.
I was thinking that like the whole time I was watching it, I was like, I don't really think that there's any way they could possibly make this into an actual film. Like, now for a film stage production, like, they had like a multiple camera setup, like they cut to close-up shots and different angles and stuff like that, which was really, really nice. It wasn't just a static shot of the stage literally the entire time, which was great. And I really, really appreciated that about it. But I mean, it's like you said, I mean, there's so little that can be said about it that hasn't already been said. I mean, seeing Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton do rap battles is like unbelievably amazing. Like, I was like, during numerous times during it, I was just absolutely floored, by the how much energy the cast has. The cast has so much energy. I love how much the cast feeds off of each other. And then, you know, it's really great.
The show itself has energy. The show itself has this propulsive, like, it just never stops.
Yeah, which is great.
Constantly moving, but also there's really quiet, like, emotional moments that let you sit with the emotion. So, I mean, Justin, and I want to get your opinions on this too, because you're, you know, you're not as into theater and Broadway musicals as I am. You said at one point during the evening that it was exhausting because it kept going and, like, it just had that energy to it. Is that accurate?
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
did you stop during the intermission at all, or did you just let the 1 minute intermission?
We stopped multiple times during the movie because there was a lot going on.
Yes,
that night.
Yeah, when you have 3 dogs, you got a kid, you got this going on, you got the delivery guy coming in, and
when it decides to hail, like, out of nowhere, just torrential storm and hail out of nowhere.
But yeah, I mean, like, for me, I definitely really, really enjoyed it. I think the exhaustion came from my viewing of these performers and them not getting a break. I'm like, dude, how is this guy doing this with the speed of the rap and them not missing a beat and the dancing and hitting every single mark? It was just super impressive to me. Now, I reminded myself while we were watching, I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen a live Broadway show, but I did see Sweeney Todd when it toured. So I do have that claim, but it's definitely not anything that is my wheelhouse. Like it is, you know, I know you guys are huge musical fans. I do love classic film musicals, but as far as Broadway musicals, it's definitely not anything I'm very familiar with. Every performance is great. I agree with what Nick said, piggybacking off of that. The way that it was shot was interesting enough to keep my interest. I think the length of it, I'm sure seeing it live, it'd be different than sitting at home. But when you're sitting at home, and it is kind of a stagnant thing, it's constant movement, but it's the same set. And that it's song after song, and I'm not used to that. Like,
I think where a lot of that's lost, though, is like Loisaw said, when you're not sitting there live, because when you're sitting there in the audience live, you're not just looking at a shot of the entire stage. You're looking at whatever your eyes can see from wherever you're seated.
I'd be looking at Joe Schmo up in the corner doing this, and I'd be looking all over the place.
And I mean, the other thing is I mean, that's why I asked about the intermission. Like, well, of course you stopped for whatever else, but like, you know, the intermission, like, you know, intermissions in Broadway aren't 1 minute. You know, it'd be something like where, you know, you take a pause, walk away, do whatever, regather your energy, recoup, get ready for the second half, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
yeah, I mean,
it'd be, you know.
It's impressive. Definitely something that I really enjoyed. Not anything I'd watch. Like, I know Loisaw watched it twice in 2 days, and that's a lot of time to invest in it. That's not anything I would definitely do, but I get the passion. You like the songs. You've been listening to the songs, and they're all good. And that's the other thing I was going to say is not one single song sucked. Every single song was impressive. I had goosebumps, and this is the first time I've heard any of these songs played. And I had goosebumps during some of them. So that
there was some of them are better than others, but I'll echo that. I don't think there's a bad number. like overall in the entire show. I mean, some performers I think I liked more so than others. Chris Jackson as George Washington was a big
Oh
standout for me. I fucking
Oh my God.
loved him. Holy
so
shit.
amazing.
You can belt out fucking.
I mean, just the Glee fanboy in me made me about cry laughing every time Jonathan Groff came out dressed as King George, which was amazing. I mean,
and that dude, how did he not blink the entire time?
Jesus Christ, like holy shit did he hit that fucking like completely out of the park, because it's a perfect break too. Like you get so much energy from all the rap and from everything else, and then he comes out and just basically does this whimsical shtick. And it's
just standing there.
It's
too.
fucking hilarious.
Stands there, yeah.
And then Michelle mentioned it over in the chat, but Philippa Sue as Eliza, and then Renee Elise Goldsberry as Angelica also just fucking annihilated it. Just absolutely out of the fucking park. Like it's crazy. Like I mean, I understand why it's a phenomenon now. Like I get it. Like I understand why. And kudos as much as whatever you want to say about Disney, but like I'm really glad that we got it in whatever form we got it, because there's a lot of people that will never ever get a chance to see it on Broadway. There's a lot of people that'll never, like, I can't afford, like, Loisos talks about trying to get tickets for it. Like, I couldn't even dream of, like, even if I could get a chance to get a ticket for it, I could never have afforded that, which is one of the things that frustrates me so much about those kinds of things, is it's elitist
is what it is.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have a way to get to New York,
that's why I'm so happy that we have a lot of people complain about the film version of the Producers musical, but I love that we have that, because like that was another one of those shows that was like in the early 2000s where you could never ever in a million years get tickets to that show, because tickets were like $2,500, and that's back in like the early 2000s.
The Producers movie is the 2005 version is not a good movie, but for a filmed Broadway production, essentially,
it's incredible.
It's great.
Which is what you have to watch it as, quite frankly.
And the thing about it is too, like, I hope that Hamilton. I mean, I think Hamilton's a special case because Disney paid $75 million for the rights to distribute it. So you think about all of the Broadway shows that you would love to see at home, or like the stuff that you'll never get a chance to see.
Could this be a trend? Could this be something where we start to see more of these? Because I would watch more of them. There's a lot of them that are out there. I mean,
I want to say yes, but I also don't believe that it would happen.
There's so much apparently that's involved, and it's not. It would be very difficult and costly to do it anywhere close to the way that Hamilton did it, where they filmed 2 performances from cameras that were locked, and then they had one more performance with no audience, so they could get the close-up, so they could have the camera swooping around the actors and everything. So it is costly, and you wonder, I guess the big thing holding it back from being more of a common thing is that they wonder, I guess, if it's possible to recoup, the money.
Yeah.
Because you see, I mean, there are some shows that have already been filmed. Into the Woods. A lot of Stephen Sondheim musicals have been filmed, like Sunday in the Park with George, Company, Into the Woods, Sweeney Todd. But think about all of the musicals. And also, like, if it's based on a recognizable property, like Shrek the musical has been filmed, SpongeBob the musical has been filmed. I actually watched that the other night, and you can just rent that stage production and watch it at home. But think about all of the other Broadway shows that you just will never be able to see, like the Great Comet, or Hadestown, or The Drowsy Chaperone, or Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson. All these original musicals that don't necessarily have that built-in audience that they, I guess, are fearful of releasing or filming and then releasing. So it's frustrating because I love musicals and Broadway so much, but it's not something that most people are even exposed to or will be exposed to. And Hamilton, I felt, was a big step forward. I just hope that it clues people in and it becomes a precedent that this is something that people want to see. again, Hamilton might be a special case just because it is the show that people know that they have to see. It's the phenomenon. It's in the public consciousness.
It opens itself up to people of all ages because of the modern music with the blend of the hip hop. There's rock and roll in there. There's some blues. There's some jazz in there, but it's basically a hip hop show, and it's really good hip hop. It's not bad. It's very good. It's very modern. I think for kids the age of 7 all the way up to people in their 60s, they can enjoy this show, and I think that's the best thing about it.
Well, and the fact that it blends like history, education, like there's a great story, there's great character work. So I mean, it's just a great story to begin with, and the music complements that, the performances, the set design, like everything about this show is worth celebrating. So I'm really glad.
Great show. And that I say that despite my utter loathing of Alexander Hamilton as a person, but
well, and of course you have Dan here, contrarian Dan, saying, I can't wait to watch Hamilton 5 years down the road when everyone stops talking about it. Get out of here, Dan.
But listen, we could talk about this for a long time, but we're nearing I'll just be honest. We're nearing the mark where I'm not going to do the stream. We're going to be done with it because we're going to talk about a canon movie. So I have to squeeze this in.
He wants to get Norris in here.
Well, that, and I got to get some wrestling talk in here because I know how long Nick can get. So we have to do our weekly matchup. It is an ongoing thing.
Dan, eventually, I know when you're going to watch Breaking Bad. It'll be after Better Call Saul wraps, and then Ashley will make you watch all of it all the way through, which will be 2-ish years. I don't know. Depends on whenever they film the final season of Better Call Saul. Go ahead, Justin. Wrestling talk.
No, it's all good, man. Nope, it's fine. You guys can message after. I don't know. But all right, here we go, dude. Here's the weekly matchup. I'm almost positive I know where you're going to go with this, but stacking up any other wrestler that we haven't done yet next to this man, there's almost like no one that can beat him, really. So this week, woo! It's been a long time, brother, since the belt's been around Ric Flair's waist. Woo! It's going to be Ric Flair versus whichever version you want to choose of Sting. It can be the Crow Sting, or it can be Pink Surfer Boy Sting.
Can it be the shitty Joker Sting from TNA?
I totally I like to pretend that never happened.
God in heaven. Oh, I remember watching and you know what? Good on Sting for not just coming out there and doing the same old and actually trying something else, but Jesus Christ.
Well, we have Scott Hall to thank for the Crow Sting, which I was a huge fan of. But prior to that, I was a kid that had a Sting action figure of the bleach blonde surfer. I know where you're going to go with this, but whatever. I had to put someone up against him, and I know Sting has a really big fan base.
I mean,
because Flair's looked at as like the number one. To most people, he's in the top 5 ever. Some people, he's number 1. So,
I mean, see, and I'm gonna pick this based on the fact that, I mean, I was just never the biggest Sting fan. Like, I liked Crow Sting, and I loved the Monday Night Wars. I loved WCW. I loved watching that during that time. What they did with his character and the way that they used that character, like Lex Luger, Lex Luthor, turning against him, whatever, where he just says, I'm a free agent, I'll do whatever. And then, NWO had the fake Sting for a while, and then you bring in the real Sting, and he's, chasing around the NWO guys with a bat, and it all leads up to Sting Hogan at Starrcade, and, all the big fanfare. Like, it was such a great storyline. They sold that, and they wrote that, and they put that together so well. But that was probably the only period in time that I really liked Sting. I'm not like the biggest Sting fanboy like a lot of people are. Like, he's entertaining enough, but my brother often said whenever we would watch WCW pay-per-views how fucking boring Sting is to watch in the ring, because he fucking is. He does flying splash in the corner, Scorpion Deathlock,
Which is
rinse fucking repeat. Rinse fucking repeat. He's insanely boring in the ring. All of his move sets are like it's almost like even more repetitive than most other wrestlers. And I know most wrestlers, if not all wrestlers, use a lot of the same move sets. But fucking Flair, man, Flair's just larger than life. You can't pick against Flair here, as far as I'm concerned. You really fucking can't. You get the woos, you get the chops. Like, I love that you could still watch a wrestling match today, and whenever somebody does that fucking chop, the whole crowd fucking's like, woo! You know, like, it's you cannot pick against Flair. You can't. You can't pick against fucking Flair. The Horsemen, dude, the fucking Horsemen, like, how great were the Horsemen through all their iterations, all the fucking stables in WCW? Like, fucking forget about it. And the fact that, you know, Flair was the dirtiest player in the game, they'd always have him getting that fucking nut shot in there and shit like that, which, I mean, okay, fine, is going back to the same well, just like Sting, but it was funny whenever he did it. And, like, I loved, like, the promos and stuff of him just fucking going insane and, like, bouncing off the ring ropes and throwing himself on the ground and going fucking nuts. He was great on the mic. He was an absolute, like, maniac on the microphone, too. You can't. Yeah. You can't even compare.
Probably one of the best promos ever. And the guy that added so much personality and pizzazz to promos that after you couldn't follow up a promo after Ric Flair whatsoever. Also, he has the reputation of being one of the biggest hardcore drinkers in wrestling history and could always handle his shit. His stories are legendary. And, you know, I know this is, you know, the segment that I come up with for you to pick, but I knew that no one could. I just wanted to hear what you were going to say about Sting. I never knew because we haven't really talked about it. So that's it for this week.
I mean, he's just not like, somebody tell me if anybody watches this later or if anybody wants to weigh in now, whatever, why do you like Sting? That's what I want to know. If you pick Sting over Flair in that case, or if you pick Sting over any big wrestler back in that heyday or whatever, why?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, that's why you could go with either beach surfer Sting, which a lot of people liked because he was basically WCW's version of the Ultimate Warrior in a lot of ways. Big, buff, jacked dude with cool face paint. Or the Crow. The Crow Sting was a big merch seller. He was huge when he came out. People were.
It was a great story. Definitely a great story. I love the way that they used the character, but that doesn't extend to his I'm sorry, but he's not a good in-ring performer. I just don't think he is. I think
he's a fine, and I don't think he's
good. I think he's good enough. I think all of his talents lie outside of the ring, though.
He has a good look. His promos were never much, but he had a good look, and I think, you know, just like Warrior. You likes the Warrior. A lot of people love Warrior. I think Warrior's a trash wrestler, but he went and ran around the ring, had an energy. You know, so people like him for whatever reason. But
I'm gonna come down next time I come to fucking Virginia. I'm gonna fucking run into your apartment. I'm gonna fucking run around the living room. I'm gonna grab your fucking counter. I'm gonna be sitting there like shaking it like fucking this. Yeah. I'm gonna go fucking Warrior on your ass.
Fine, then I'll turn all the lights out on you, and I'll come out with a bat with my face painted white and little crow streaks and my trench coat, just point the bat at you. That's the cool thing that he used to do, man. When they would, you know, that's the cool thing. It's kind of like what WWF had already been doing prior to that with, you know, lowering all the lights to pitch black when the Undertaker would come out. When they would do that at WCW, it was exciting because you're like, you didn't know where Sting was going to be. Then he'd just be in the ring behind the NWO and start whacking him with the bat, or he'd be up in the rafters and they would just shine a spotlight.
Like I said, all that stuff, like that whole storyline was great. Like it was like, that's why WCW was winning the Monday Night Wars for a year and a half straight. That's why, because of that storyline. But the problem is once that storyline, like they had NWO Wolfpack Sting, like
Wolfpack that he had red face paint and everything.
God, WCW started to suck.
Once Wolfpack came in, I was done. But I don't want to bore Loisos forever. We know he's so excited to talk all about Chuck Norris. So
I bet he is.
Did someone say Chuck Norris?
Oh, yeah, we did. Stream chat, thank you so much for hanging out for another pre-roll recording. We love you. You guys are wonderful. Don't forget, tomorrow is not going to be Minecraft. No Minecraft tomorrow. We're actually going to do stream games. We're going to do Fibbage and, I don't know, probably some other Jackbox stuff if we get around to it. But tomorrow, 8 p.m., don't miss it. We've been crushing it. Numbers have been good, actually, for the weekly streams. It's been really, really, really nice. So make sure you guys set those reminders. The stream schedule is down below. Tuesday, Thursday this week, no stream because I'm going to be recording with Randy. I don't think I could play Warzone and stream it at the same time, Dan. I think my computer would implode. But Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We're gonna get off and we're gonna record the main show, All About Invasion USA. Thank you guys so much for being here.